So it's been kind of a while since I gave a last update. Life just kind of got a little bit busy, but there was so much work that was done. I kind of want to chat a little bit about what he's done. So he pretty much finished with the actual retaining wall. We are going to add veneers to the sides. We did pick one out and it's on back order for a few months. So it'll be available September through December. So it's going to probably stay like this, or he might add some stucco to it to make it look nicer. But this is what the columns look like. And here is what the water fountain's gonna look like. So we have 2 more columns here and then one on the far end. Here is the water fountain. You can see the spout right here. It's like 5 feet long and it's just gonna pour water into here. And then he's probably gonna add a couple more layers of cinder blocks, so it's gonna be pretty tall. And he waterproofed the inside, so he had like a layer of like some kind of liquid rubber that hardens, and it's going to prevent water from seeping through. So the water is always going to be running. You can kind of see here there's a pump, so it's going to be going up through the spout and then back down. He also added French drains back here, so during the rainy season when water kind of like collects all over here, it's gonna drain through some pipes and go out through the side of the house instead of just getting stuck back here. So he's literally thought of everything. And one thing that he's working on right now, which I think is absolutely insane, so we can't find caps for the actual retaining wall that are the size that we need. And if we do find one, it's insanely expensive. So he's making his own caps. So he's going to add a mold pretty much along the entire wall and a mold around the pillars, and he's going to pour concrete and then he's going to paint the concrete. So he's adding caps all throughout the entire retaining wall. He's doing it all himself. And this is kind of like a little practice round of a cap that he made. So you can kind of see this, he painted it and it has kind of like a little rounded edge, and he just kind of did this to practice and see what mistakes he made, how he can improve it. And so he has like a really good idea of what he's gonna do. Something else that he wants to do is after we power wash the concrete, we are gonna paint it, and we're gonna add fake grass all along these in between the concrete and then along the border of the entire concrete area, and then we're gonna have real grass there, and then probably add some rocks here. We're gonna have a shed back there that he's gonna build, because I had no idea they were a couple $1,000s. I thought they were just a couple hundred, but we're like, yeah, we're just gonna build that ourselves. And then we're also gonna have a gazebo here, seating area, all that good stuff. This is our current progress on the caps for the retaining wall. He built a wooden mold and he poured concrete, and now he's just smoothing it out as it dries. It gets a little bit easier to smooth out the more it dries, but he has to kind of work quickly to make sure that it doesn't dry completely, because we don't want all these bumps here. So he's just smoothing it out, and he's gonna do that for the rest of the wall as well as the columns. It's a very long process, but he likes it. We're working on another section of the retaining wall. So he's just using a tool to make sure the edges are rounded, and he's just gonna keep smoothing it out as it dries. Looks like there's a ton of water, but the concrete does absorb it as he just keeps smoothing it out. He's also using this hammer to make sure there's no bubbles, and this just kind of helps all the bubbles rise up to the surface to keep pockets from forming. And he's going back in with the tool to create that nice curved edge. And he's just going to repeat this process until it is almost dry. So you can see already the concrete is drying from that first layer. So he's just going around to round out the edges, and then he's going to smooth it out and just keep repeating. Long process, but it looks so good. Super proud of him. Something else that we're doing are adding these lines so that this will kind of prevent cracking from forming. So if you see giant concrete slabs that have this, we are doing something very similar to the caps on our retaining wall. So he's just using this little tool. And I think he measured it out to either 32 or 36 inches apart.
The reason that you make these lines and these crack gaps so early when everything is still wet is so that you can easily move the aggregate or the rocks that are in the concrete. I make the concrete a little watery so that I have more time to play with it since I'm doing it by myself. But normally you would have it
Not so watery.
much thicker than that, and you have a couple guys that do it right away. As one is pouring, the other one is molding. And you see the little
The little shiny.
discoloration?
Yep.
That's from the mortar oil that I use to lubricate the mold.
Yes.
Because otherwise it would stick, and when you take it off, it would break off chunks. Unless you wait until it completely cures, but then you might have the same problem.
And once we're done with this one, we are going to create a mold. Well, not we, he is. Create a mold to the end of that column and just kind of connect these two. So this will be pretty much seamless. And then later we're gonna paint them as well. So we're gonna add a veneer all along here and paint this. We haven't decided what color yet. I'm leaning towards kind of like a darker warm gray, and he's kind of leaning towards a cooler gray. So we'll see what we end up deciding. So he poured the concrete for the back part of the retaining wall. All that's left to do is to sand them, and then we're gonna paint them. So this was about a week's worth of work to build the mold and to pour the concrete, to level it, to make the little dividers that you guys can see here. And right now he is pouring the concrete for the columns. So this is kind of what it looks like, and he's letting it set a little bit, then he's gonna run out the edges. And there's a tube sticking out because we're gonna have a light fixture that's gonna be on top of here. So that's gonna be on all our columns. And tonight he's going to pour one more row here, and then that's it for tonight. It's getting kind of late. It is Thursday right now, and he started pouring way over there on Monday. Ton of work, but it's looking so good. Great progress.